Delicious Aussie lamingtons. You don't usually associate them with low carb, but Luke Hines is here to show us you can and they still taste good.
That's exactly right, Juzzy. Thanks for having me. They're low carb, gluten-free, refined sugar-free. So if you've got any allergens to those, this is the recipe for you.
Wow, wow, wow. You're saying free of everything. Do they even... Are you sure they taste nice?
Just between you and I and everyone at home, they actually taste better. They're so good.
Everything you cook tastes delicious. So what's first?
So the sponge. Yes. And I reckon trying to perfect a gluten-free sponge that's light and fluffy and golden is pretty tough.
So hard.
But I don't want to have tickets on myself. I've done it. I've done it. I really have done it. And it comes down to the healthy fats that I put into this recipe.
Right.
And it's a combination of three. So the first is the coconut cream.
Okay.
And we use tinned because it's only coconut in there.
Sure.
Then we're going to use coconut oil, which is a really good source of healthy fats.
Yes.
That's going in. And then last but not least, everything tastes better with butter. Agreed?
You know me, I love butter.
Oh, yeah. So we're getting the butter in there just like that.
So it's going to be a really moist sponge.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got to be. If I'm going to convince people to eat a healthy lamington,
Yep.
at least it's got to taste good,
Oh,
yeah?
good one.
So give that a little whisk and then you're going to get into cracking the eggs and I'm going to do the vanilla bean and maple syrup.
Sure. So 3 whole eggs.
Yep, get those in there. And if you can, use free range where possible.
Of course, I'm all for that.
Happy chooks, happy
Tasty
lamingtons. They're looking great. Now it's time for the maple syrup. Get that in right there.
Can you use another sweetener for this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm using maple syrup. Raw honey's good, but I sometimes think honey has a really distinct flavour and it makes things quite honey.
Okay.
So maple's the way to go. Whilst I whisk, could you put in the almond meal and the baking powder?
Okay, so almond meal, in it goes.
Yeah, beautiful. Keep it moving.
And can you talk to me about baking powder? Are they gluten-free or not, or are there options?
No, there's actually options. So what you want to do is make sure that it says gluten-free baking powder on the packet and you know you'll be good to go. Because if someone is celiac and has to avoid gluten for health reasons, serious consequences can happen. So always look for that gluten-free approved.
We're a wealth of knowledge, you are.
Look at that.
Looks good.
You would normally think, oh, it's a little bit wet for a sponge, but when it goes in and it cooks, it's so light and fluffy and delicious.
Okay, well, I'll pop that into our tin. It's just been lined with some baking paper. How long is this going to cook for?
So preheat your oven to 180 degrees and it's going to go for 30 to 35 minutes or until golden brown on top.
In it goes.
Juzzy, I need you to chop up some chocolate for me so that we can melt it all over our sponge. And whilst you do that, I'm going to make the chia jam. So bring your saucepan up to a medium to low heat.
Okay.
It's only 3 ingredients, so what you need is some raspberries. And these fresh ones are bursting with flavour. They look so good. Get those into there. And then in with that, we're just going to add chia seeds and water. And then we cook these down until it all comes together. The chia seeds expand, allow it to cool, and you're good to make your lamingtons.
So good.
Chia jam's looking good. The cake is nice and cool. I'm going to get on to melting the chocolate. Do you want to trim the edges, Juzzy, and I'll cut it into the perfect squares?
Can do. Well, Luke, we've got all our elements ready to go. It's starting to take shape now. It's the Lamington look, right?
All right, I need you to get the sponge right here so that we can start loading these bad boys up.
So you're wanting 2 similar squares?
Yeah, definitely. Unless you're a perfect person at cutting, you'll have a little bit of odd shapes. So make sure you kind of pair up similar shapings and sizings.
Now, I had a little taste of that cake when I was trimming it. Oh, it's so good. It's going to be even better with all of these toppings on it.
So the next stage in the process to layer this up is to pick a base, get some chia jam,
That's really thickened up. I actually thought when you look at that, you think, oh, it's all the seeds from the raspberries, but it's not. It's the chia seeds that have expanded and thickened up this jam. A great idea.
Yeah, it's really good, and you can incorporate it into different meals of the day. Use it for breakfast, put it in sangers, all of that. And I'm just using a spoon. I'm going to use the back of the spoon to press that out. You don't need to go all the way to the edge because when we put the lid on, it's going to press a little bit. You don't want to press down too hard though. So I'm going to place that on top. Oh, how good is that? Make sure it stays on. And the next stage is the chocolate. So, Juzzy, if you can pass me that.
Yes, here you go.
That's had a bit of time to cool down.
Sure has.
So it's looking really good. Oh, it's so thick. Okay,
Wow.
and we pour that on top.
And there's nothing else added into that chocolate. It's just chocolate that's been melted and just cooled slightly. You don't want to, like you said, put it too hot.
Exactly. But because we've let the sponge cool, it's ready to go. Now, would you like to do the honours with the shredded or desiccated coconut?
Just go all out, over the top.
Yep, you've done that before.
It's just so fun to do this because you just see it all come together. What about the science? How do we get around that?
It's kind of like, it's like a wedding. Confetti.
Confetti.
On the Lamington.
Confetti. I love it.
How good is that? My style of cooking is always rustic and messy. You don't need to be perfect with the measurements, and especially when you're plating up, it's just got to taste good.
Yep, I agree. Should
we
have a taste?
Should we do the honours? Okay. All right, I'm going to cut this up.
Let's have a look inside it.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so
wow.
there is the Lamington. You've got the jam through the middle. Should we give it a go?
Yep.
All right, there is a little piece for
Thank you.
I've given myself the bigger one.
Oh, always.
That'd be right.
That'd be right, yeah. Wow.
Normally you're meant to wait for the chocolate to set.
It's not here. No way.
No.
That is spectacular. Dare I say, maybe better than the original. I didn't say it, did I?
No, I didn't hear it.
Honestly, it's sensational. That cake just in itself is fantastic. But with the chia seeds and the raspberry really lightens it up and the chocolate. And it's not too sweet, and that's what I love about it. It's just the perfect balance. Gee, you've done it again.
Who knew looking after yourself could taste so good, Juzzy?
I know, I love it.